floor is yours.
Well, hello everyone. Thank you for being here. As Katerina has said, my name is Rebecca and I'm based at the Yvonne Carter Building, Wolfson Institute of Population Health, where I sit on the SHARE Collaborative, under which we have lots of studies, but I'm on the qualitative team. I haven't been here very long, just a little over a year. And yeah, learning things from the ground up. My background is very much steeped in community engagement, and I'm basically here to talk about the book. And I'll hand over to Winnie.
Thanks, Rebecca. Thanks, Katerina, and thanks everybody for being here. My name is Winnie Siroma, and I'm freelance international development consultant. I mainly focus on monitoring and assessing community health projects. I do most of my work in Africa, actually, but I'm based in London. And I'm one of the co-authors of the book, and I am absolutely thrilled to be here because I love talking about this book.
So in which case, then you might want to start it off, and yeah, why the book? Why now?
Yes, this book came about 2 years ago. I'm not sure how familiar everybody is, but in 2021, it was 40 years since HIV was first identified as HIV in the UK. It was there, but it was not, known what was going on, but it was identified as HIV in the UK at that time. There were a lot of different things happening in terms of the celebration of, where we've come from, all of the things that have been achieved. But we're also talking about, the people we've lost and everything else that, that needs to be done in order to end HIV. So I was part of a recording, and it was a TV sort of program. It was called Positive. It was featured on Sky, and in that program, as we were recording, somebody asked me, what about the African communities? What's happening there? And literally, I thought, oh my God, what's happening in terms of, talking about African communities? So a sort of light bulb went off in my head, and I thought, we need to do something. Because the narrative around African communities is, we are receivers, we are not engaged, we are there to receive services, we are given, we are poor. And I thought we need to change this narrative because we've always been here. There's so much work going on in our communities, and we don't share it enough. So I approached my little group of friends, 5 of us who are co-authors of this book, and I, brought the idea in one of our meetings, social meetings actually, and they all agreed that it was a brilliant idea, and we embarked on it. We were literally learning as we put the book together. Yeah. Because we had to make decisions then. What are we going to put in the book? Who are we inviting? Is it just going to be us? What's it going to look like? I can tell you right now that how the idea started and how it ended up are 2 whole different things.
Yeah.
But we are so happy with what we got.
Yeah. Yeah, and I guess the rest is history. So we got together, sat down, contemplated, you know, as Winnie says, what it's going to look like, what we would need, and we very quickly realized we need to find contributors to the book. And I think the idea behind having it specifically, we have 40 stories in there to coincide with the event that Winnie's mentioned. And then we also realized that actually, no matter how much work we've done within the African community and whatever, we have had help and support along the way. So we thought it would be a good idea to include within the book allies, people who have been on the HIV journey, you know, right from the beginning, have seen it changed over the decades and then are still around. So we, you know, approached people, we sort of devised the questions that we would ask. We had like a script that people didn't need to stick to, but sort of guidelines, what we wanted from them. We established the fact that as part of this, we would be very open about our story. So therefore it was important to have the pictures included to each story. And I guess that is, in our own way, we're always talking about HIV and stigma and the impact it has. And we thought we need to be leading with very good examples. We can't have pseudonyms or, you know, alternative pictures. We need to show that we're open, we're transparent, this is who we are. And that's the whole reason why we have the stories, we have the pictures as well. Yeah, and we approached people, challenging sometimes because there was a lot of chasing and you know, and then we approached some people again who said, well, I would really love to write, but my partner's not very comfortable with me writing. So we had those things to navigate. And yeah, collated the stories. There was also the funding to think about. We're not an organization per se, we're a group of friends. You know, having met and stuff, being friends for a really long time. So we needed to find somewhere that was, you know, a legal entity that could hold the money or process the application. So we approached Mark Santos, who is the CEO, as I said earlier, of Positive Ease, and he's been very instrumental in, you know, navigating the funds and just making sure that all of that side of things are taken care of. We did writing workshops because, as Winnie says, we were learning on the go. You know, so there's a lot of learning, a lot of changing of minds, a few disagreements along the way. We're still friends, very good friends. So that's, you know, was a really good outcome. Yeah, well, just, I mean, I guess to cover a bit of the lifespan of our friendship. We all met, I guess, through peer support organization, I think. I mean, it's going back a few years, it's more than 20 years that I know, you know, we've known each other. So part of the story is that, I mean, and I'll speak for myself. So I've been living with HIV for 27 years now. And as part of that journey, you access support groups and then you meet these women within these groups that show you that actually you can still live life, you can still, you know. But then there's a point at which going to these formal support groups became, it's almost like we got as much as we could out of it, and we needed to find something else that we would be able to, you know, enjoy and push each other and propel each other. And this is how Winnie, she's the ideas lady and everybody's got a role. And she came up with this, you know, we could have what we refer to as external peer support and just, you know, encourage each other on our journeys in life. And yeah, so we were pretty much stuck together for, yeah, 20 years or so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And perhaps, you know, just to add on to continue to build the picture, is that it can be quite a risk taking on a project like this with your best friends. Because, you know, there is a lot to disagree on. There's a lot, but for me, it wasn't even, it wasn't something that I worried about because we've been friends for a long time and know each other's strengths, each other's weaknesses, and we know how to navigate, our friendship and to make sure that our friendships don't disintegrate. Through the peer support that we got, meeting in these different support groups, because we are all Black African women living with HIV. We met through that, and we grew through those sorts of different peer support networks. We felt that we needed something specific to us to perhaps not just offer social support. We are all activists in different ways. We wanted to work. We wanted to do different things. There's so much work, we want to continue to do. So with this book, while we started off with the idea that, it is a celebration of what African communities have contributed to the HIV, UK response, there's so many different narratives we wanted to change. There's a lot of intention in this book. We, as 5 women, we are all from different African countries. Zimbabwe, Zambia, Uganda, Kenya. There's that, Africa unitedness of working together as Africans. As women, there's so much that we do, but we don't share in this way, writing down. We wanted to make sure things are documented. We don't document enough within the African communities. We wanted to share everything that we've learned within, the HIV sector. There's so much we've learned. And we want this to go beyond HIV, as we continue to address, health inequalities within Black communities, as we continue to share with our families that are now not necessarily in Africa, but they are here in the UK and, growing in terms of diversity. So there are so many different things, including the artwork of the book. One of the co-authors, Charity Nyirenda, she's very creative. So she created all the artwork here in the book and really anchored it in African fabrics. Most African fabrics are not just fabrics, they mean something. Everything means something. So part of the artwork here, means a lot. And I'm going to try and do justice to what she usually says about the artwork. So this blue fabric that is, covering the book is represents a tsunami, like HIV being a tsunami that engulfed, us, especially in Africa. But with a tsunami, it comes, with so much strength. But then after the tsunami, people start to, build communities through community work, and everybody starts to recover. And we wanted really that to come out. The recovery, the resilience, the celebrating, the uplifting of each other. Africa represents our journeys through wherever we are going. And most importantly, with this book, it's about the UK and about the journeys in the UK. She usually says that this grotto represents life,
Yes.
Every leaf represents, hope and all, and all of that. And also in the book, it's really, really beautiful. It's every page has a different type of fabric with every story, there's so much in here that people can enjoy just beyond the text. It is a book, you can read one story a week, put it away on your coffee table and come back to it, but we hope people can learn from it, at least learn something from it. It's really, really a passion project for us, including everything that, that maybe we couldn't talk about, the communities that have helped us. We really honor the LGBTI communities in this country that have supported us, that have helped us to grow, and many of the stories are in here. Maybe one thing that I would like to highlight, that there are probably countries in Africa that we might not be able to go to because of this book and what it involves, but we are very clear that, we stand by this book, we stand by these stories. These are people's stories in their own words, and that is really important.
Yeah. I mean, there's not much else to add, and we might just open the floor to questions if there are questions. And that way we can direct them to being slightly more specific than us just rant on all the time. So yeah, no, we're very happy to answer any questions that